my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what we're going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it was my pick, and after our good friend Blake stitched us with Fatal Attraction, I thought we need to do this spoof movie correctly, Dave. So I went back to probably, for me, the best of the lot. I know Airplane's a great one we've done and everything, and I enjoy it, but probably from our generation, I was about 10, 11 years old when this come out. So I had to pick it, and it's been on my radar for weeks, and I was like, right, we're having this one. So we're going to be reviewing, Dave, Naked Gun, and I'll give its official name, From the Files of Police Squad from 1988. So, Dave, what do you remember about first time seeing this one?
Well, obviously, we're going to talk about the movie, but Frank Drebin as a character, I first remember from Police Squad. Now, my dear old dad, he used to show me all sorts when I was a kid. And we've talked about it was a bit more liberal back then, wasn't it? It's like, oh, okay, just show kids whatever. So long as there's no sex or anything, it's okay. It's like, see people getting decapitated or, people making rude jokes or whatever. It's all fine. You had Benny Hill on the TV, and obviously I was a big fan of Airplane as well. You got Liam Neeson. Leslie Nielsen in that as well. So I remember him showing me this one, and I just loved it. There's something about the comedy, and I remember him saying, "Oh, it's been cancelled pretty much. There's not many episodes." And as part of this week as well, I've gone back and watched that first episode as well. There was a whole murder case with Sally Decker that we went into. But yeah, so Police Squad was my introduction into this world, and this kind of spoof comedy, Chris, especially in the 80s, was just a bit of me. And by the time this one came out, I never thought I'd get to see Frank Drebin again. It's like, when you're a kid, time moves in a different pace than it does now. So it seemed like ages. Never thought you'd get to see Frank Drebin again, and this Naked Gun, Police Squad world. And so, yeah, it came out, and it was just, I'd seen the trailer a few times coming up, and then, yeah, when I watched it, I just thought it was absolutely perfect. Absolutely loved it. Watched it many, many times after that time. Haven't watched it for a good few years now. Was a little bit worried. I was very excited when you picked it last week, but was a little bit worried. I was like, is this going to be one of those that's a bit buttock clenchingly embarrassing? It's like, oh, that's quite inappropriate now. There's a tiny bit of that, but probably not as much as I feared there might be. But yeah, got a lot of love for this one, Chris. How about yourself?
Well, Dave, you unintentionally said Liam Neeson, but Liam Neeson is playing Frank Drebin Jr. in the new Naked Gun movie, which is out next year. He's just finished. Yes, I don't know how you've done that, but he's playing Frank Drebin Jr. So it's actually been filmed. I saw an interview of the other day, Liam Neeson, and I think they may lean into the, when he did that comedy skit with Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and Miles Davis. Is it Miles Davis? No. He's a fucking guitar. He's a musician.
He's a bit
fucking Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis jazz, man. Warwick Davis. I nearly said something inappropriate then, Dave, which you can't say anymore. But Warwick Davis. And have you seen that scene where he comes in and he's like, I want to do comedy? And he just does basically his fucking Taken character, doesn't he? So I don't know whether they're going to lean into that. But yes, Liam Neeson is playing him. So for me, I think it was one of the ones where I think my dad was going on about it, saying I'd watched bits of Police Squad, and it was always on late at night. And it was also, what was strange about Police Squad was it was only 6 episodes. And then it got, I'm reading the bio stuff. It got cancelled after 4, but they aired all 6. And you're like, it's absolute comedy gold. Who the fuck hated this franchise? But yeah, I remember getting it out. I remember watching it, absolutely loving some of the bits in the movies. And I'm the same as you. I've seen clips on YouTube and I've sought out like the baseball scene and some of the others. And yeah, it used to make me piss. Yeah, Enrico Palazzo, which apparently when Leslie Nielsen died, ESPN run a whole bio on Enrico Palazzo. They actually run it as if he was an umpire, the only umpire in history who banned and sent other umpires to the stands and saved the Queen and all this, and they played on it. So yeah, honestly, absolutely loved it. And I do remember, I think I did enjoy the second and third ones, but I can't remember a lot about them. But this one I've watched loads of times. But like you, it must be 15, 20 years where I've watched it from start to finish, other than little bits I come across on YouTube. So I was a bit worried thinking, is it going to hold up? But yes, Frank Drebin as a character, he just reminded me of my granddad. My dad's dad walked like him and everything. Always had like a suit on or a jacket, but that sort of, my granddad was a runner, so I don't know if Leslie Nielsen was, but that like bow-legged walk he did just reminds. So every time he's walking in this, he's always thinking, just like my fucking granddad, the same walk and everything. So no, honestly, I was really looking forward to doing this one. And how the hell we haven't done it after nearly 5-6 years, I do not know, Dave. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this one.
I can only think that Police Squad just didn't land because it didn't quite find its audience in time. I mean, Airplane was huge at the time. So, that came out in 1980. Police Squad was 1982. But I think people were probably more used to watching, I don't know, Hill Street Blues or something like that, Kojak. I think it might have been like The Office when The Office came out and everyone thought, is this real?
Yeah.
It might have been just a bit too silly for the people who tuned in to watch it. People were tuned in expecting some kind of cop drama and they were like, what the fuck's this shit? But it's one of those, it's still, that first episode, honestly, all the ingredients are there. Everything about it, the guy, the shoe shine guy with all the tips and everything, the silly wacky jokes that they've got, the plays on words, it's all there. So yeah, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
In this city, there's crime on every street, but one man has seen enough. He's Lieutenant Frank Drebin.
Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat.
He's a good cop who's having a bad day. His best friend
Everyone should have a friend like you.
is in a coma.
As soon as Nordberg is better, he's welcome back at Police Squad. But I wouldn't wait until the last minute to fill out those organ donor cards.
His girlfriend asked him to look her up.
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
And his city is in the hands of a master criminal with a sinister plan.
I must kill the Queen.
How can any police story contain this much action? This much romance?
I like cops.
Or this much baseball? Starring Leslie Nielsen, a cop who's always on the alert. Mikhail Gorbachev.
I knew it.
Queen Elizabeth, everyone's favorite queen. Priscilla Presley, a woman who really cooks.
How hot and wet do you like it?
Ricardo Montalban.
Frank.
You're both right.
George Kennedy, the partner with an appetite for danger. O.J. Simpson, as you've never seen him before. And Reggie Jackson in his first dramatic role. In a movie so big, it had to be filmed in color. The Naked Gun, from the files of Police Squad.
Coming this Christmas to a theater near you. See you then.
Police Squad Lieutenant Frank Drebin is on vacation in Beirut when he disrupts a conference of America's greatest enemies, who are trying to conceive a terrorist plan to humiliate the US. In LA, Officer Nordberg attempts to bust a heroin operation run by businessman Vincent Ludwig, but he's shot by Ludwig's henchmen. Drebin returns to LA and is briefed on the case before visiting Nordberg in the hospital. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I've got to say, Dave, I didn't laugh as much as I thought I would. But there is still some some bits in it just tickle me. You know, just the stupid way things are set up, you know, like just nonsense stuff, which I think bits of it haven't aged very well, but I don't think I can do my Chris Phelps throw it under the bus, because I've loved this movie over the years, and just Frank Drebin is just an absolutely classic character. Leslie Nielsen portrays him. I mean, he was 66, I think, when he was 62. Sorry, when he starred in this movie. So his actual career got a renaissance, didn't it? He was like, you know, he'd done a lot of serious stuff up to it.
He was a serious actor, wasn't he? Before Airplane.
Airplane, yeah. So, but yeah, the start of it is just fucking stupid. Like, it's just everything about it. I mean, obviously you've got O.J. Simpson, so it's a bit of a hard sell these days as well. But the whole idea of like Frank Drebin, and he's there with the fucking leaders of the world. He gets Gorbachev's fucking birthmark. He goes, I knew it. And he's a fucking cop in New York or wherever he's supposed to be, but he's in this fucking meeting and
Beirut,
yeah, and all these fucking leaders have got the names on. You know, he's got fucking Yasser Arafat and he's got Yasser there. You know, fucking all these ones from the 80s and Gorbachev, everything is fucking brilliant. Like, just the fighting, and he can still move a bit, and he's just chinning everyone in here, and then he does that whole thing with Yasser Arafat. He's doing like the fucking speed bag, and then he does the hand. I'm doing it now, the hand, and he's up and down. I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. And it's like, yeah, Detective Frank Drebin or whatever it is, and then jumps out the window. Yeah, it's just silly, absolutely silly, but still an absolute classic movie and a great start as well.
Yeah, I always forget about this start. Because it doesn't really fit with the rest of the movie, does it? It's just weirdly, like say, having a vacation in Beirut, and then you get to find out he's split up, he's divorced from his wife. But yeah, it's a really interesting time capsule, because you've got, like say, Gorbachev was there, Yasser Arafat was the guy Gaddafi from Lebanon, Gaddafi, he's there, and so. I'm looking back at it now and I'm like, fucking hell, how did they get away with this? I mean, this was a time in the 80s when America just didn't give a fuck, did it? You know, it's like, you've got him on screen beating up these world leaders. I don't think you'd see that now. But it was just almost a bit of a piss take, I feel like, of you know, Chuck Norris films and stuff like that, isn't it? And he's just this action hero. It's only a bit more of a stretch because he's a cop. He's, you know, his jurisdiction's nowhere near Beirut. It's almost like, you know, having some California lifeguards solve crimes in the evening. But yeah, just it's great to go into that world. And the thing that heartened me very early on, so in this scene in particular, because I was saying after watching Naked Instinct, or Fatal Instinct, sorry.
Fatal Attraction, even.
Is it Fatal? Is it Fatal Attraction or Fatal Instinct?
I don't know, whatever it is. Is it Fatal? Maybe I'm wrong, but it was
Fatal Instinct, isn't it?
Is it?
We are on fire with inaccuracies today.
Yeah, Blake's like, aren't you, dick, Chris? Fucking Fatal Attraction. That's probably one of my Red Shoe Diary movies, Dave. Yeah. But anyway.
Fatal Attraction's the actual Glenn Close one, isn't it?
It is actually, yeah, Michael. Fuck me, Chris.
Is this it now? Do we just get worse and worse as we get older?
Pinnacle.
Yeah. So in that Fatal Instinct, Armand Assante does a similar thing, doesn't he? You know, with the almost Three Stooges like.
Yeah.
I'm doing it with the hand now, though. You know, the box in the face and whatever. For that, I didn't find it funny. There was something in the execution when Liam Neeson does it. Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, mate, we are on it
today. When Frank Drebin does it, I can't help but smile. It's not like I'm bursting out laughing, rolling in the aisles or anything, but I just find it funnier. There is something about the execution, the timing, the performances in this. It just heartened me straight away. I'm like, oh no, I still do like this stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. And you know what gets me though, Dave? When Nordberg's O.J. Simpson's character gets fucking taken out and he's in the hospital, it's just some of the comedy. He's like, he goes in the room, Drebin, doesn't he? He's got a finger with him, George Kennedy, who I'd always remember as a kid being an absolute bastard in Dallas. He played Carter McKay for like 3 years or so. But obviously, he came into Dallas after he'd filmed this. So, I mean, my dad fucking loves Dallas. I fucking grew up watching that. I've watched it I don't know how many times. I believe now my mum and dad still watch it over and over. As soon as he's finished it, he starts it again. It's ridiculous. But anyway, says Mia watches Alvida Zane Pet all the time and things like that, Dave. But there you go. So it's...
And The Office.
The Office and, yeah, all this stuff. So I'm watching Gavin and Stacey again now as it runs up to Christmas. So, yes, I haven't been a hypocrite. But I remember him. So when you see him in this, they come into the fucking hospital. And Norberg's there. He's got his leg up, his arm. He's talks to his missus, Frank Drebin, and she says something about drugs. And he went, "Wow, I'm a police officer." But then he goes, "Where's Nordberg?" And he's like, "You've come in his fucking his room. He's there." Just, it sounds silly, but that's like the stupid comedy of like his wife's there. He's in the bed. What's going on? Like these little things like that, little one-liners that don't necessarily hit, but I sort of get I chuckle at it going, oh yeah, that's like a little silly joke that they throw in, because this movie is literally an hour and a half of jokes, and not every one or skits or little thing hits, but I can appreciate everyone more than Fatal Instinct, Dave, because that was just a rip-off of this more than anything. I think that's what I struggle with, and I think it's Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen's delivery he's trying to play a straight cop, and he's not supposed to do the comedy, and everything just follows around on it. Like he does stuff all the time, and it's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant movie.
Yeah, it is that there's like a machine gun of puns and gags, isn't there? It's just relentlessly coming at you. And like you say, in that room that, and they kind of sit on Nordberg, and so, it gets slammed up against the wall as well. And the wife's obviously distraught. She's just playing the grieving, or not grieving widow yet, but the upset wife that, Nordberg's been shot and whatever. And I did like it where he gets the extended scene, doesn't he? He gets he puts his shoulder on the wet paint and stuff after he gets shot. It's just ridiculous. But Frank's like, okay, yeah, he'll be fine, but, don't leave it to the last minute to fill out the donor organ.
Yeah, the
donor cards.
Insurance.
He's also like, oh, yeah, we're not going to rest a single second until we find who's responsible. Now let's go get a bite to eat. And it's just relentless. It just gives you no time at all to stop and think, oh, was that funny? And there are no great build-ups. We go on, we mentioned it just now about The Office, but sometimes there's a really long build-up, isn't there, to a payoff. At the end of season 1, where he's going on and he's talking about philosophy. And I think, is it season 1? He's going on about Dolly. You know who said that? Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Ian Botham. It's funny, Ian Botham. I fucking love that. Dolly Parton.
That was it. If you like the rainbow, you've got to put with the rain. I said that, Dolly Parton. And people just say she's a pair of tits. You have to wait for the payoff, don't you? But with this one, it's straight in there. It's scattergun gags and puns. They don't all have to land, but you're never too far away from the next one. So, yeah, I couldn't help smiling all the way through this one, Chris, to be honest.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Even like when him and fucking George Kennedy there. I mean, it's in the trailer. If you see, actually watch the trailer on YouTube. But the fucking dead body, and they put like a floating fucking painted body on the water, and they're there like, and we're just like. Just silly things that they're totally taking the piss out of all these like serious cop movies, aren't they? And detective shows and all that. And everything about it. I mean, he meets Priscilla and she's stunning, Dave. She must be probably late 30s, early 40s, maybe. Honestly, I had a massive crush on her.
Certainly
movie.
older than when Elvis first met her. Let's say
that. I did say to you, Dave, if you're going to Elvis maths, I'll tell you last week, she's probably only about 25 in this, but she looks late 30s and she's stunning. She's stunning. Less said about that, the better. But I do like the interaction, and I'm not going to steal it from you because you've delivered it better than me. But the scene when he goes to meet her at a workplace, like she's up them ladders, is fucking brilliant.
And I don't know why, but just certain, like I say, the gags are relentless. But there is just something, they do leave this one to breathe a little bit because, when he meets Priscilla Presley, so Jane, she's doing that sexy femme fatale thing. She's got the red dress, iconic red dress there, but she's obviously really clumsy. So she's trying to be all sexy and stuff, ends up falling down the stairs, walking into the wall and stuff. But you can tell Frank's, got a twinkle in his eye for her there. And then, she goes up the stairs and Frank's looking right up. It's just the way he's like, nice beaver. And then it's like, thanks. And again, it just gives long enough where you're like, holy shit, it's like, thanks. I just had it stuffed. And passes down this stuffed beaver. I don't know why, but out of the whole movie, it gets me every time. I know it's coming. And I still fucking laugh out loud, not just a little chuckle to myself. And I know exactly what the joke is. I know exactly what the timing's going to be. And it gets me every time. Chris, I fucking love it.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You know what I love from here, though, is how they fall in love. That Frank puts a brand new suit on to sit by a fire. And they're sat by the fire. And then she takes her clothes off. And you see, and then he just rips his suit off. But then we get this proper... It's a spoof of Thingin' It, isn't it? The Bo Derek one with Dudley Moore, where is it 10, where they're running down the beach, or what? Oh, she's running down the beach, and Bo Derek. Yeah. They're like in love, and it shows them like they've been together for months. They clothesline a couple in the sea. They're playing games, throwing stuff, and everything. And this looks like this has gone on for fucking weeks. And then the next scene, they go, "Oh, I can't believe I only met you yesterday." Like, what the fuck have you been doing? Like, they've literally spent
all happy music and everything.
Yeah.
The bit that gets me out of that whole montage bit is they're coming out of the cinema laughing their head off, and then the camera pans up. It's like Platoon.
I fucking love it. It's so silly, isn't it? It's just fucking stupid. And I was laughing at that bit. Like you can see Leslie Nielsen's just doing that fucking fake laugh, just taking the piss. It's like a wink to the audience in it. It's just, and you're right. And the next scene, he's like, when he says, "I can't believe when he met you yesterday," it's fucking nonsense. Ricardo, what's he called? Malta, or whatever he's called. I always say he's the guy in the cannonball on the second one. He's the one who says, you must buy it. But he plays the dad.
He's Khan for me.
Oh, he's Khan for you, yeah. But honestly, his fucking hair is glorious. That is Kevin Keegan, Graham Souness, but like cut so fine, that hair. Whether it's his real hair, I don't know, but it is an absolute classic 80s fucking haircut. It's brilliant, honestly. And he plays it really well. He plays the proper gangster, doesn't he? The baddie. He's Jane's boss in it. Like he's and she's waiting him. Then Frank thinks something's going on, and just everything. When they do the speech thing, and as a kid, I thought it was hilarious when he goes for the fucking piss. And he's got the mic on. And he's pissing for ages. Then he fucking lets one out, doesn't he? And he's like, oh. And then he comes back in the room. And honestly, as a kid, I remember me laughing. My brothers like just pissing ourselves, laughing, thinking it was hilarious. You watch it now, and it's funny. But there was a couple that didn't absolutely get me because I've seen it, because you've seen it before, but there's still bits in it that were making me laugh out loud, especially a couple of bits at the end. I was fucking pissing myself laughing.
But it's the setup for it as well, isn't it? And I guess this was so familiar to me going back through it. And I guess you remember, when you're a kid, you remember the payoff more than the setup. But when they're at the press conference and he's struggling with his mic, and then so he has to swap, they give him the radio mic, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what's coming. And also when he meets Vincent Ludwig, he's the slimy businessman / gangster as well. He's got that dual role as they often do. And he's like, oh yeah, we've got this samurai fighting fish or something, and also this samurai pen. He just randomly calls out these two things, this samurai pen, completely unbreakable. And so he's just literally set it up because you know what's going to happen. And of course, the fish is biting him on the nose and stuff. And he tries to hide the pen and the fish behind him. And you hear the little squelch. And you're like, oh, God. And of course, he's skewered the fish, hasn't he? So all these setups, I say about this, the machine gun gags, but I do appreciate just how they're set up as well. And not in a particularly subtle way. It's just A goes to B, there's the setup for the gag and then there's the gag. And I just couldn't help it, just smiling all the way through.
Honestly, I was the same. And the bit he say about when he goes to the office and it sets on fire and everything, and he's catching everything, and all these fucking ornaments in it, these dead expensive. But it's the bit when he goes on the fucking veranda, and you've got that woman who have the biggest pair of fucking breasticles, shall we say, Dave? And I'm like, I forgot all about her. I reckon I've definitely fucking paused that fucking scene a few times, Dave. They are massive. And I was like, and it's that bit when he's got the bloke statue that's got a fucking lob on, and then he turns it and the statue's smiling as if Frank's fucking giving him a hand job or something. It's that silly comedy of like these movies that gets me. It's that's just stupid, and ultimately that ends up with him getting fucking fired, doesn't it? Really, he's sort of like out the door, and it's like just so stupid. Because you're right. I said an hour and a half. It's 85 minutes from start to end. So they put in so much, and I don't think it could go any further because you're right. With it being a comedy spoof, you couldn't have it like 2 hours. You would have been bored. I think this is the perfect running time for this movie. But yeah, honestly, it's so fucking good. And the Queen as well. And that woman, she made a lot of money as the Queen impersonator, didn't she, for years? You'd see her on like UK TV shows and everything. And his fucking head's gone on it, and he just fucking dives on her. But then in the pictures in the paper, he's lay on top of her with her legs akimbo. But on the pictures, he's fucking behind her, isn't he, as well? Like he's fucking giving her one from behind. It's just stupid comedy. Stupid comedy. And there's loads of little nuances. If you look at the newspaper articles, these little fucking stupid things written in that as well. So yeah, I can still appreciate this for what it is, and even now, it's still a great movie.
Yeah, and they obviously, the big plot, the dastardly plot from Vincent Ludwig was to kill the Queen. And like you say, I do like when the Queen throws the first ball and she has that little trick shot almost. It goes into the guy's hand. She's a bit of a demon at the old pitching by the looks of it. But I did remember, it's all kind of kicking off. Frank's, he's got the guy. He's got the umpire, hasn't he? So he's sort of derobed him, and he's there getting changed. And the guy, the janitor comes in. It's like, oh, sorry guys. It looks like they're about to have some sexy time. But yeah, and so he's frisking everyone. But I think, this is your bit, isn't it? When he dresses up and he's there as Enrico Palazzo. Enrico's hog-tied up on the sofa, and he watching his reputation get destroyed. So he comes out and belts out the old national anthem.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you know what gets me is so he does the national anthem and he's doing, oh, save and you see. And he's like, sounds like me when he used to be singing the band that day. But he's singing and everyone's looking. But then if you see fucking Jane and that note, you're looking like, it's fucking Frank. It's Frank, the boss. It's Frank. And in fact, can I just put a pin in that for 1 second? You know what bit absolutely got me in stitches, Dave? Like proper is when fucking Frank and Ed are fucking like frisking people down, and they frisk that woman down, and then they frisk the bloke down, and then he's fucking taking Ed's wallet, and he goes, "Hey Ed, he's got a picture of your wife. He's got a and then he chins him. He's got a gun, and that bloke. And honestly, when Ed fucking chins him, I am absolutely in stitches. And he's like, he gets the fucking wallet and goes, "That's my wallet." He's like, "He's got a picture of your wife." He's just the way he doesn't hesitate. Go, "That's my wallet." He just fucking chins him and knocks him on the table, and then they leave the gun on the table. So I know. We're back to but that bit, honestly, I was in the house on my own watching it. I was pissing myself laughing. That sort of comedy is me, Dave. Just so silly. It was so funny, that bit.
Yeah, they must have taken that because the physical, it looks so good, didn't it? Because obviously Frank thinks he's frisking this bloke, but he's got his arms. He's got his hands in his mate's picture, and like I say, he's got a picture of your wife here. So just so well set up, so well executed. But then that happens, and you're straight on to the next thing again.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So yeah, you're right. And when he does the fucking whole speech and everything, and then it's like he goes in the back, and he becomes the umpire.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is the greatest moment in this movie, and that scene has stuck with me from being a kid, because he's there, they're all there, and every time someone goes to do a thing, just before he's fucking frisking him, innit? But the initial thing is like, he comes in and they're looking, and he's there, and he's right next to the pitcher and everything, and the catcher, and he's like, and then when he comes to a strike, even the fucking guy, the batsman's looking, going, and then he's like, strike? And everyone's like, yeah. But then you get the fucking moonwalk. He's dancing. I'm doing all the hands now to the crowd. The splits. He's doing break. Honestly, that scene is fucking brilliant. And it's the fact that then we get like this almost training montage levels of Rocky where the ball's all over the pitch and Frank Drebin's frisking everyone. Someone drops the ball, and then it's like he's trying to find this fucking guy who's got like this chip to kill the queen, aren't they? The assassination thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's outstanding. The way he's fucking frisking these baseball players, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? And he's there and he's like leaving him. And when it gets to the bit though, Dave, when he fucking throws the other umpires out,
yeah,
I am gone.
You're out of there.
You can't. Even the guy in the fucking scoring thing can see he's fucking out. You're out of here. And then he just fucking descends into chaos. And then he pulls the gun. And then, I like the fact that Frank's gun is like a fucking little pea shooter in it. He's got the tiniest gun. And he pulls it. And all fucking players and the umpires are arguing with him like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. He's out, sort of thing." And when he fucking tackles him, and he's a proper baseball player, the guy who he fucking decks. He's a world famous. I think it's Reggie Jackson. He's a world famous he's baseball, American football. He's baseball player, Reggie Jackson. And when it all kicks off into a fight, that's like proper, like just stupid stuff. But what gets me over anything as well in this scene is when he saves the fucking queen. And he pulls the mask off, and Jake goes, "It's Frank!" And obviously, fucking the baddie gets. It's when the guy in the crowd goes, "Enrico Palazzo saved the queen." And Frank Drebin's like, he's wanting the plaudits in it, and they're all fucking going, "Enrico." Honestly, it's fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I know I've jumped far because I'm sure you want to say stuff about it, but for me, that is even in movies, it's one of the greatest scenes in movies. It's just fucking excellently executed, so well set up and delivered.
Yeah, it's like it's playing on that trope, isn't it, of the buffoon kind of cop who just he ends up sort of saving the day, but he somehow falls forward. I mean, even when he's got his James Bond like cufflinks, and he's trying to shoot the guy who's trying to kill the Queen, but he ends up shooting some larger lady on the upper balcony, and then she falls on him.
That's so fucking bad.
It's so wrong, isn't it? You never see that now. But obviously that's the gag because she's bigger and she ends up falling on the baseball player and the day is saved.
So fucking good, isn't it? It's so good. And it is. It's just like everything about that is fucking brilliant. And then obviously, what's he called? Fucking Ludwig gets Jane, doesn't he? And fucking, he's got a hostage with a gun. Oh, Dave, another scene. I think it really gets going at the end. Is when he's got Jane at gunpoint and Frank just gets some random woman. He goes, well, two can play at that game. And he puts a gun to her head. And it's like, how is Ludwig gonna fucking why would he be bothered about that? And you know what I forgot as well, another bit, and we talked about it in the trailer, the fucking guy at the start when he's fucking the interrogating him and he goes, fucking Nordberg, and he goes, no, and he goes, well, this thing of your memory, and then he gives the fucking like the informant all the money, and then Frank he says, "What's it about?" And he goes, "I'm not telling you." And he goes, "Well, let's do it." And they end up swapping money. Can I spot you 20? Yeah. Just stupid. I know it's right at the start. I missed that, but yeah, at the end, that bit is fucking brilliant. It's like that is like classic movies, isn't it? Get someone with a gun. Oh, I've got someone else. What are you going to do about it? Honestly, and then the James Bond fucking thing comes out off his watch, doesn't it? The thing to sort of take him over the edge, and he's like, she goes, "Have you killed him?" No, he's all right. He's just thingy. He's basically going to be knocked out. Next minute he falls over the side. It's like, yeah, he's dead. But honestly, it's fucking brilliant.
Steamrollered. Then you get the band sort of walking over him as well. It's like proper cartoon stuff, isn't it?
It's like Wile E. Coyote, isn't it, with fucking Roadrunner? Yeah. But yeah, honestly, the movie itself is like, and I know it's difficult compared to like some of the other stuff we've done because it's a little bit, I suppose, a little bit shorter today, but it is worth watching again. Anybody who hasn't seen it for years, if you loved them originally, it's still, I don't know what, on the review stage, there's just so many good bits. And these bits that I think if you watched it again and again, you'd pick up on other things, Dave, and be like, oh, I didn't see that. And I've watched this movie so many times. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Frank Drebin is a fucking legend for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's because, like I say, because those gags come at you in a machine gun fashion. That's why it rewards rewatching. So you just can't consume all of the gags as they're coming. So it's why you pick up on little bits that you haven't picked on before. But awesome stuff. Now, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, it was my pick, and I said last week, I can't really be subjective. I just can't. It's such a good movie. And there was bits in it where I was smirking or, you knew the joke was coming and you're like, yeah, that's like an 80s style joke. But there's just talking about the bits at the end, like say, the guy at the start with the money and he's, it's just stupid stuff. And once George Kennedy chinned that guy from the picture of his wife, that was me gone then. I'm like fucking pissing myself then for the last 15 minutes. It's so funny. Everything still works. Everything still hits. It's up there. It's an absolute classic movie. And yeah, it's one of my favourite comedy movies. So it's got to go to Cloud City, Dave. I can't send it anywhere else. Even if it wasn't as enjoyable as what I've watched years ago, there's still some absolutely hilarious bits. And I'm so glad that we've covered this finally. So what about yourself?
Yeah, so disclaimer straight away. I think we hinted at it last week. Can't be objective about this movie. I just think it's an absolute classic still as well. I was a bit worried, and like you say, some of the jokes are a bit, it's of its time, isn't it? But I just thought it was fantastic, and I love the fact that in 82, Police Squad came too early, maybe, for the public, and it didn't go down very well. But by this time in 88, people were ready for it. And Frank Drebin, just such an iconic character. Love this film. Cloud City all day long. And kind of want to go and watch the sequels now. Sequels sometimes are a bit up and down, aren't they? But I can't remember too much about it. I'm sure if I watch the trailer, it'd come back to me. But I seem to remember quite liking the sequel as well. So maybe one day, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. And I know it's your pick, Dave, but I do want to say something before you do your pick. This episode, I'm dedicating. I know it's not a Patreon pick or anything, but to one of our patrons, Dave, Mr. John Hammond. So sending this out for you, mate. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this one. And I did get the Lob On reference in there. So just a little bit of a message for John. But anyway, Dave, it's your pick. What are we going to be covering next week?
Well, Chris, I thought I'd go back to a great British classic of 1997. Now, this was a film that I think we'd already had things like 4 Weddings and a Funeral, so there was this idea of these kind of British classics there. Again, it reminds me a bit of seeing it in the video shop, renting it out there as well. But Chris, this is The Full Monty. Now let's get into the trailer.
I had this on VHS, Dave. I think everyone did, didn't they?
Finished, Dave.
It was huge, wasn't it? And I've not seen this for ages.
Shut it. Some of us are trying to get a job. Hey, and it says no smoking.
You forget, Gerald, you're not our foreman anymore. You're just like the rest of us. Scrap.
If you were out of work...
talent in here, isn't there?
If you want joint custody, then you have to pay your share.
And out of luck.
Now what? Shut up, I'm thinking.
You'd do anything...
You call them Chippendales, man?
...to turn your life around.
How many lasses were there, though?
I think there might be some language of the time in this as well.
Yeah.
These men...
Yeah.
I don't see why not, Gerald. Because you're fat and he's thin and you're both ugly.
...have come up with a plan...
No, not doing it.
Come on, Dave, don't stop now.
...that's going to get them a lot of exposure.
A laughing stock. Totally.
We can either forget it or do it and just maybe get rich.
This is crazy.
They may not have the talent for it.
Dancers have coordination, fitness and grace.
The bodies for it...
The less I eat, the fatter I get.
So stuff yourself and get thin.
...or the stomach for it.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
I may have
When
done
you've
that,
got
Dave.
nothing to lose,
This lot go all the way.
You lot.
you've got nothing to hide.
That would be worth a look.
We've sold 200 tickets.
No one said anything to me about the Full Monty.
Are you in or are you out?
Oh, iconic.
The music.
Enterprise, is it, Gary? Strippers. You.
Fox Searchlight Pictures presents...
I mean, I couldn't, could I?
It's a bit like The Commitments,
The
this,
most
isn't it?
revealing
The way,
Yeah.
it's set.
We're doing this then.
Yeah, very much.
Down on the look, sort of working
The
class
Full Monty.
people.
You don't sing.
No.
You don't dance.
Oh, no,
One of the greatest songs ever, though, this, isn't it?
It is, Dave. I remember that. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, no, it should be good. It's on Disney Plus, so very accessible there. Probably in the US, it's on Hulu as well, I imagine. So yeah, that's.
Excellent.
I haven't watched it for a good number of years. Let's see how it goes.
No, I'm not far behind you. I must be it might even be late 90s since I last watched it, Dave. 100% there, but I definitely had that VHS. If you didn't have the Full Monty and Train Spotting, were you even a video collector, Dave, in the late 90s?
No, I can see it in my mind's eye now. That big, distinctive yellow box with the blue writing on it.
Yep, that's the one. Definitely had it. So massive thank you. I'm going to pick that for next week, mate. I'm glad you didn't stitch me. So I am looking forward to that. But
yeah, not this time.
No, not yet. If you do want to support us, please give us a follow. Get over to patreon.com/CD Realitycast. No, we don't. Get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media @VHS Strikes Back. So, the roll call of honor and a big thank you to Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Kent, Lucky Lulu Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. I do appreciate it, myself and Dave. Really, really good stuff. And I will say, Dave, you're saying about me not stitching you up. don't forget, my next pick is going to be coming out around Christmas Day, I believe. But there you go, Dave. So what have you got to take us out with today, my friend?
Well, Chris, musically, I thought we would go with a bit of that femme fatale vibe. So we talked about Fatal Instinct when we eventually got the right title. And we had the same here with Jane, who's our femme fatale type. You know, she's not really a femme fatale, but she's got that iconic red dress, looking very lovely, Priscilla Presley and what have you. So I thought I'd go with a bit of that big band swing style and trying to make it a bit sexy as well. It's also, in terms of putting lyrics together, the outro is possibly one of my favourite things, but I think you'll see, well, maybe you'll see why. So let's get into it. Just imagine a smoky jazz club.
Dave, it's jazz.
Nice.
Nice.
A gleam in his eye, and he doesn't know why. And the city of crime is the star of the sky, fumbling into cases that are more beyond. Frank's on the scene in a world so mean, where dictators plot and he's caught in between. Frank stands tall though his plans may fall, knocking down villains in a grand free-for-all. With stumbles and bumbles, he's in the fray. He might mess it up, but he'll save the day. Nightbirds in danger, mysteries are all. Frank's back in LA, and there's trouble to solve. There's a twisted scheme that's devilish and rigged. The bad guy is kind of Vincent Louvre.
Fancy playing a bit of this double bass.
Like that, Dave.
On the run, saving the day with the naked gun. With stumbles and bumbles, he's in the fray. He might mess it up, but he'll save the day. Frank will save the day with a naked gun fever. He'll talk Jane around, 'cause he's got a nice beaver. And all goes okay, despite a little Frank shock. Could even get away with murder with a questionable blow.
You know, you said about, you know, when you watch the movie, you know what's coming as a setup. I could clearly see the way the wording was going, where that was going, but it doesn't make it any less funny. That is fucking brilliant. That's one of your best, that, without a doubt. That is fucking brilliant. Love it. That is so good.
Yeah, there's one for the. Obviously, we didn't really talk about OJ much in that, but yeah, I was putting this together. And I was like, oh fucking hell! I think that's up there.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Oh, honestly, so good. And the start of it sounds like Police Squad as well. It does. It's like a slower version. Very good, Dave. Honestly, that's one of your best. That was funny.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir. Can't wait to get into next week as well. So thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy. But I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I see you in 6 months.
I must break you.